What's going on, guys? My name is Tom. Welcome back to another video. Here back to my F1 2020 My Team career mode. Today is time for episode 10, the French Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous episode, I highly recommend to go check it out. But we have some things to do before hitting the track at RICARD, including renew a contract with one of the sponsors. Decided not to renew, choose another one, and it's going to be this Volvo. It's just beat our rival at the moment. It is PA Gasly. Just to remind you, which I think is it was a little bit too ambitious to choose an AlphaTauri. But we'll see what we can do. I don't like this track. I'm going to talk about that further on, but we have some days to fill our agenda. We're going to put race simulations and then some things to the departments, and that is going to improve things, not just in our teammate, which I want to invest, and in the other departments as well. We're going to buy a major upgrade for the chassis as well. I think it's going to be probably ready, if it is ready, in 2 episodes time. But we're skipping the days. Everything is going fine, and we have a warning of low cash, but don't worry, because I'm investing a little bit of money, but sooner or later I'm going to worry about the money. But in performance chart, as you can see, we're getting closer and closer. Renault now is the 3rd slowest team. It was overtaken by Haas, and Mercedes still it is the benchmark of the field with quite some margin against Ferrari. But here we are already on the track acclimatization. This track, like I said, I'm not a fan of this track. I think it doesn't provide good racing in real life, as we make a spin, as I took much curb, and already pushing very hard in the early stages of the weekend. But as I was saying, in real life is an awful track to race. In the game, I think it's okay. It could be a little bit better. Definitely there are circuits that provide much better racing, but in a nutshell, I don't like this track. I think it's not satisfying to these long corners. There are tracks where we have a lot of fast corners, but I absolutely love to make them, such as Maggots and Beckett's around Silverstone. But here, I don't know, I don't like this track. I don't know what about you guys, but not many people are a fan of Paul Ricard. Maybe it is a good track for the GTs or for the European Le Mans series, but for Formula 1, I just don't like it. But in practice, pace has been really good. We are 1 second up in the qualifying sim program, which is a thing that is not really a common thing to do. I think the difficulty is a little bit too low, and we got purple, and we got purple in every single practice program in this weekend. But and we got 9th fastest on practice 3, so that gave us a little bit of a confidence boost. But I think it's too much. The difficulty is too low at the moment. It was 101. I'm going to put on 103, so I hope I don't regret that. And I'm thinking that I should have put 102, but I think it was too low. Going 1 second up in the qualifying sim program, I think it is too much. But it's time for qualifying. We'll see if we can go and get out of Q1. I don't know at the moment, because I increased 2 levels of difficulty, which I think it's a lot in these F1 games. But we're not going to give up. We're going to press on, and here we are in the first session of qualifying Q1, already fitting the soft tire, obviously, because it's going to be quite a challenge. I think I'm going to struggle a lot. The thing that I struggled the most over this episode was tire wear. I struggled a little bit to pass the tire wear test, despite the difficulty being low. So I think is a thing that we have to worry about later on in the race. But through the last corner, open the DRS, and we're going to set 130.8, and that's put us for the time being behind the Haas of Magnussen. But then we skip forward with 2 minutes remaining in the session. We are down into P21. It was a very scruffy lap, I'm not gonna lie, and we're going to be deep into turn 1. I cut a little bit to corner and we spin, but yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. But now we're going to do a slow lap, and then we're going to have enough time to do another time. But we're watching the replay. Yeah, I got too deep into turn 1. I tried to cut the corner to not lose time, which I think is a bit dirty, and karma hit us, and that resulted in a mid spin, which it was kind of spectacular from the from the replay camera. But here we go. We're down now into P29, so maybe some lap times were invalidated. I don't know. I think it's a glitch from the game, but a little bit of oversteer, as you can see. But we are up by less than a tenth, but it is green nonetheless, and we hit the apex slightly there. And here, make sure to get the widest line as possible. I always like to take a wider line there. Some guys like to keep it tight, and here the exit here is vital to get the best straight line speed, the best speed as you can. We're going to open the DRS, and this is the fastest session of the circuit when it comes to straight line speed. 2 tenths up, so at the moment I'm happy with the lap. Not many mistakes. I'm not very confident, despite because of that spin, I want to say. but we'll see if it is enough to get us into the second phase of qualifying. Gaining 3/10 at the exit of the chicane. We are 71,000 of a second up of Kevin Magnussen, so I think at the moment it is not enough, but we'll see, because I lost a lot of time on the last sector through this long right-hander, which it can be really tricky to get a good run, but we do actually. And then here I always like to take a late apex, try to go wide, and then tighten getting the exit a bit more tighter than people originally do in these F1 games. Make sure to keep it tight here to get a wider line on the last corner. Hit the apex, but not too much. Don't hit the curb, because that's going to stabilize the car for almost 5/10 up, and we're going to a cross line. It is going to be enough to put us into Q2. No, it's not. It's just P19, and that is going to be how we're going to start this French Grand Prix. We just managed to beat our teammate and both Williams, and I gotta say, it was a bit disappointing, but I think this is where the car is, and I forgot to say that our power unit is a little bit worn out, so I decided to take the sacrifice in this episode, and we're going to race with one power unit, and I think because he's in the last legs, but yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, but I think the lap was almost flawless, so I think there was not much to extract from this car, so maybe I could be happy, I don't know, but the race is going to be another story. We're going to stick with the one stop. The guys on the top 10 might start on the two stop, from my experience from F1 2019, the one stop is pretty powerful around here against the two stop. So without further ado, let's go down to the track. Can we score points? It's going to be really hard, but let's go to Paul Ricard for the Sunday race for the French Grand Prix.
Along then to France, host of the world famous Tour de France. But we're not talking two wheels today, we're talking four, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners, 6 left and 9 right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The two halves of the long Mistral Straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the Chicane Nord. And watch out for the drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Thomas. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Perez, Albon, Stroll, Kvyat, and Lando Norris. Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Pierre Gasly, and Grosjean, Ocon, Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, and Thomas. Giotto, Latifi, Giovinazzi. They've taken a grid penalty, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
Thanks, Jeff, for the very informative info. I don't know if people say like that, but I was forgetting that this is a French Grand Prix and our engine is a Renault, so we have to do well to impress them and maybe get a cheeky, you know, engine upgrade. But there is strategy-wise going to be one stop to starting on the mediums and then switch to the hards. And Sainz up ahead is starting on the soft, but 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix. Those guys, some of the guys are starting on the softs. The pole sitter, I think it is Bottas, he's starting on the mediums, and here we go to the French Grand Prix. It's been a good start against Kevin Magnussen. We are alongside Carlos Sainz starting on the soft, so it is a very good start considering that we are on the hardest on the other comparative tire, and we're going to try to go run inside, now switch to the inside, make sure to giving a little bit of squeeze, very aggressive in the start, and we are up into P16, so it's been a very good start, but everyone is bunched up, so we'll see if we can take the pieces of that as this Renault is going really slow. We're going to try to go run inside. We have left the door a little bit open, and now we're going to switch on the inside and not just overtake Ocon, but as well the other half of Roman Grosjean, and we gained a couple of positions tires once again, and we are into P14. So it's been a very good first lap, but I know if this is going to be the pace against these guys, because like I said, I'm kind of struggling, especially in the straight line in terms of tire wear. So it's going to be a very hard Grand Prix, and I'm already struggling, as you can see, as Grosjean is converts his defense on Esteban Ocon to overtaking the temp on me, but I managed to defend that as we have a massive tank slapper, as you can see, out of the chicane, and already losing time to Pierre Gasly, as you can see. And this is going to be already maybe a sign that is going to be maybe a reality check Grand Prix, and we're not going to be in the pace of these guys, but we're not going to give up. We're going to press on and see these guys are going to maybe squabble once the DRS gets deployed. I don't know, but yeah, at the moment I'm feeling that it's not going to be a very good Sunday race as it has been in these last few episodes. But I'm confident when it comes to the strategy, because we are on one stop. Like I said, the one stop is pretty powerful around here. Sainz is going to suffer a lot, I won't say during this Grand Prix, because he's starting on the soft tires. One of the Mercedes, I think it was Bottas, was on the mediums, and then Hamilton and the likes of Ferraris and the Red Bulls, which are in the mix to maybe win this Grand Prix. The Red Bulls are way down the road because they had great penalties, so I think it's going to be a Mercedes v Ferrari battle. But maybe Bottas has the race in his hand, because he's going to stick with the one stop, obviously starting on the mediums. But I can be wrong, and this is going to be a race maybe for the two stoppers. I don't know. At the moment, it's a shot in the dark. This when it comes to strategy, I'm not feeling very confident. As you can see, Gasly already broke the DRS window. He's 3 seconds up ahead, and Grosjean now is maybe going to try on the inside. Yes, he is going, but he locks up a little bit. He goes wide, so we're going to do the switch back, and we regain the position. So we're going to do. We have some defending job to do at the moment, because I'm nowhere near the pace of these guys. As Sainz now is going to try to go right outside of Grosjean. This should be an easy move, considering that he's on the soft tires. Grosjean actually managed to stick by going on the inside, but now Sainz should have a good run around the outside, and the Ocon with a privileged view. So the Renaults, I think both Renaults are out of the points at this moment, so it's not being a very good race for them. I think the only hope for a good result at the moment, it is the McLaren of Lando Norris that is ahead of us. But Sainz is going to try to go on the inside. Grosjean gives a little bit of a fight, but no use, because Sainz is already going to stop and he's going to fit. We'll see the strategy of these guys. Going to fit the medium, so it's going to be a soft medium strategy from these guys as well for the AlphaTauris, basically for the guys that started on the top 10, with the exception of the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas, which I think is my bet to win this Grand Prix. But there is Sergio Perez as well, these guys, so I think that is going to be the strategy. The Red Bulls, I think they are going to kill their races by sticking with the two stop, and Sebastian Vettel fitting another set of soft tires. That is a very, very interesting strategy, to say the least. Is he going to be the soft stop medium strategy? Is going to be the free stop, which I think is a stupid idea, which is kind of poetic to say, because Ferrari is not really good with strategies at the moment. But these guys now have to manage traffic, which is the thing that kills these two stop races against the one stop, is because you have to deal with traffic. And Hamilton already cleared one of the wheels pretty easy, and that teammate overtaking, doing some racing finally in my career mode by overtaking the wheels for true track position, and Charles Leclerc on the soft tires as well. So both Ferraris maybe can stick with the free stop. Maybe they feel that is a viable strategy to go with the soft medium strategy, as Vettel goes right inside, not just of the Haas but of the Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi. That is a pretty sweet move, but that is pretty easy considering that he's in a Ferrari, and the Ferrari is pretty strong at the moment in the game. But I think sooner or later we're going to have that performance patch that I was talking to you about, because Ferrari in this game is OP comparing with real life. Remember in my last question mark challenge that Ferrari, I managed to put a Ferrari in P4, but I decided to let Ocon through, as you can see, because there's no point. I would be killing my tires, and yeah, I think it's going to be a no points race. But now I think the only thing that can save us, maybe it is a safety car. I don't know at this moment. I'm feeling kind of depressed. This track is awful. My engine is a little bit worn out. I'm starting to suffer. I'm going to start to suffer maybe a little bit of tire wear. We have a 3-second time penalty, as you can see, so that was very well timed when I was talking about depression. And Carlos Sainz is out of the Grand Prix, so he's going to be a free position. But yeah, I'm hating life at the moment. But finally on lap 11 I'm going to pit, and I decided to pit one lap earlier, maybe try to get the undercut on Ocon. I don't know. I'm willing to try everything at the moment. I think I'm not going to try the two stop because that would be silly. And yeah, that is going to be our race. We're going to fit the hard tires and we're going to cross the line in this compound. So I'm curious to see where we're going to rejoin once everyone stabilizes their strategies. In other words, their pit stops. Everyone does their old pit stops. And we have a good pit stop on our team, 1.9 seconds, and at the moment we are in last place of this Grand Prix. So, but at the moment now it is P19. Kyoto is 5 seconds up ahead, but it has to stop, and we have to manage the Williams of Nicholas Latifi. So let's see if we can dispatch him as soon as we can, because I really want to make a kind of another cut, and I can't lose the time with this Williams. So we're getting slipstream. Am I going to dive down inside? It closes a little bit the door, but I felt a little bit tempting, but I managed to get my elbows out, and I managed to get a move done. So that was a pretty sweet move, to say the least. But it was on the slowest comparative tire, it was on the slowest car, and that was a pretty sweet, a pretty fast, short and sweet switch off direction on the car. But yeah, I felt a little bit tempted, but I said, okay, I have nothing to lose, I'm outside of the points, so I might as well go with a good overtake. And we are at the end of lap 13, starting lap 14, and we're overtaking these guys. We are in P15. Verstappen is on the medium, so he already made his stop, but he's going to do another one. So I think it's going to be a no points finish for Red Bull, which I think is not the best way to go, especially when you're starting outside of the top 10, because you have to grid penalties. But this is Valtteri Bottas overtaking Lewis Hamilton. Bottas is on the hard tires, and Hamilton is on the mediums, and Hamilton has to stop once again. So Bottas in the legal V zone at the moment, and that is going to be a pretty easy win for the Finn, and just showing that the one stop it is the way to go at Paul Ricard. So Hamilton not having a good day, and this is maybe he's going to meet very important things when it comes to the championship tally. But Vettel once again pitting, and he's on the medium tire, so it's going to be 2 stop, but the only difference that is fitted 2 sets of softs, which I think will it work, I don't know. But at the moment the Ferraris are looking kind of good, considering that they are making the 2 stop, and actually Vettel managed to get ahead of Hamilton. So it was a very good goal from Ferrari, which is not very common to see. But we are in P12, not very far from the points. But remember that we have a 3-second time penalty, and behind us it is Jabres in a much stronger racing point, and there he is. We are at the moment in P10, and we could finish here if it wasn't that 3-second time penalty. So that penalty is going to kill our race, because Perez is catching us very quickly, like half a second a lap. And yeah, I couldn't defend him. Generally, I'm pretty good with you know, with defending job, but now I'm going to trap this, because at the moment it's Bottas leading, and then is the McLaren of Lando Norris, and then the other Renault engine of Ricciardo, that is the works team. So 2 Renault powered cars in the podium at the moment, so everything is not bad for the Renault factory, because we have a McLaren in P2, and it should be like that, because Norris made his 1 stop, so the 1 stop is not powerful, is super powerful around here. And the proof that the 2 stop is not good here is because both Red Bulls at the moment are out of the point, and we are actually ahead of these 2 guys, of Max Verstappen and Alexander Albon. But now we skip all the way forward to onto lap 19, and I'm sitting that at the moment. Perez with the DRS, and he's going to overtake us, and I decided, okay, I'm not going to give him much fight, and I'm going to try to stay ahead of Kevin Max, and there he is. And that is sad to see. Perez, I knew that would be an absolute pain, and I decided to take a sacrifice to go with a 1 power unit in this Grand Prix. I decided to increase. Maybe it was too much difficulty, I don't know. Maybe it was the right difficulty, because this is where the car is, it is at the moment. And yeah, this is a reality check Grand Prix. But despite knowing that, you know, I'm still kind of sad. And now Kvyat overtook Magnussen, because Kvyat was in 2 stop, and now he's 7 tenths ahead. So he's going to be P12. And maybe it's going to be further down, because Magnussen already is within the 3-second window, 1.5 seconds ahead of us. So it's going to be an awful result. I think that penalty killed us, killed the Grand Prix, and there he is, Kvyat. I'm a sitting duck at the moment, there's no point fighting him, and I just want to bring the car home and not get any sort of damage. And Kvyat gets through, and now let's see, at least just for pride, I think I'm capable of keeping Magnussen behind us, but it's going to be, I don't know, because look at the minimap. It's not just Magnussen that is close to us. It is both Red Bulls, the Racing Point, and Gio. And we are already in the last lap. The tire wear, as you can see, it was on 60 odd %, so tire wear was pretty high around here. So it's a thing that I need to watch out in the next few Grand Prix. I need to invest in the tire wear, so that is going to mean a lot of upgrades when it comes to the chassis department. But Valtteri Bottas, an easy win for him, and shows that the one stop it is the way to go in Paul Ricard, and maybe it is the way to go in this game sometimes. And for us, it's going to be P12, and I think it's going to be P17 if I am not wrong. And we are setting personal best in the last lap, so just to make sure that we just across the line on track ahead of Giovinazzi that actually overtook Magnussen. And yeah, it was a very awful Grand Prix. Just get me out of here, please.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Here he is, confirmation results. Bottas wins, and then it is by 18 seconds against the Ferraris of Leclerc. So Leclerc with the 2-stop managed to finish in 2nd place, so it wasn't that bad as 2-stop, it seems. But Norris managed to score a podium from McLaren by starting in P10. He stick to what 2-stop. Unfortunately, Ricciardo couldn't, you know, keep P3 because the Renault was much slower. And there he is. It is P17. And look at the warnings that I had, because I was pushing, maybe I pushed too hard, and maybe that's a reason that I was struggling with the tire wear. But yeah, it was an awful episode, and Hamilton still in the lead with 43 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas. But this race was really important for the Finn to catch the Brit in the championship, and Leclerc is kind of close to both mugs, so maybe we can have a three-way fight. The Mercedes look much stronger than Ferrari, but maybe Ferrari can show some good race pace. And in the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes ahead, and we are in P9 with 29 points, and Williams yet to score point. And a very good weekend for AlphaTauri. As you can see, they gained 2 positions and overtook Racing Point and Renault. But that has been episode 10 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm trying to bring this series, you know, 2 episodes per week. I think that would be the ideal, but now that we're in September and I'm going just to start my classes just on October, I'm going to record probably now a lot of videos and try to regain my shape, I can say, in the channel, and try to be consistent. But for me is everything, and I'll see you guys for brand new video next time. But for now, it's goodbye.